You're very welcome back. You're watching the Daily Rundown with me, Fiona Fox. Now, the junior doctors are striking today in protest at the imposition of a new contract. In preparation for the stoppage, hospitals cancelled more than 100,000 routine appointments and nearly 13,000 non-emergency operations. This has allowed them to redeploy consultants, middle-grade doctors and nurses into emergency services such as accident and emergency, maternity and intensive care units. GPs were also asked to keep more appointments than normal free for last-minute urgent calls. With all this preparation, is it fair to say the NHS is coping well with the walkout? Again, Richard, not to focus on you, Penny, I feel like
I'm sure Penny does have an opinion about
Penny has an opinion,
yes.
It's just, it's such an obvious thing to go to the doctor.
Of course it is,
right?
Let's
not be obvious, Penny, are the NHS coping well with this walkout, do you think?
God bless them. I mean, they've had more than that to cope with over the last few years. They always somehow, the NHS, somehow or other manage to, well, they do their best, don't they, to fill the gaps, because like the young doctors, they are altruistic, they care about people, and that doctors don't want to go on strike. It's completely counterintuitive, I would say, for a doctor to go on strike, and the fact that they are on strike shows what an awful situation they've been put into. They're going on strike to protect their patients, not to put their patients in danger, and the NHS, God bless it, is stepping up to try and, you know.
To be fair, they have. I mean, like, obviously everybody's out there, everybody's kind of front line now at this stage, aren't they? Just as a medic, Richard, how do you feel about the whole situation?
Well, I'm very biased.
Are you biased on
well, I have to be, don't I?
The side of
on the side of the junior doctors.
Is everybody though? Like, genuinely,
I think the majority of people are.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think generally people don't like the idea of an imposition of a contract. Yeah. The people who are trying to put that contract into being are saying isn't going to work or isn't right. So nobody likes that. We don't like that when it happens to firemen. We don't like when it happens to nurses and train drivers and that sort of thing. Because they're people. These are hard-working people.
And I think civil service. So I think
yes. And also there's a little bit of entrenchment now, isn't there? I think, and those bullying tactics used by the Department of Health to say we're going to impose it, like it or not, and that's just going to get everyone's backs up straight away, isn't it?
But I suppose the feeling is there, obviously they can do it to the junior doctors, maybe they can do it to us, whatever sector we're in, right? I mean, there is that feeling, isn't it, if they're going to do that.
Well, next on the way is they're starting to negotiate the GP contract.
Right, okay.
So if the junior doctors don't make a stance now, eventually it might be the GPs making a stance.
Right, down the line.
And the midwives and everybody.
Do you feel that there is an agenda there?
Yes.
I mean, I will be honest, some people have come in here and they have said that there's an agenda that might suggest that we're working towards, obviously, the entire privatisation of the NHS, and this is starting with the junior doctor strike. How do you feel about that?
I can't see the connection between this new contract and privatisation.
You don't feel that?
No, I think there may be an agenda about breaking down the rights and regulations of unions, maybe, in order to make workforces more flexible. That might be a hidden agenda, but I'm not one of those conspiracy theory
You're
type
not
people.
Fully on board
don't
with that.
buy into that now. No.
But have you ever seen a strike in all of the history of strikes in the UK that everybody have been so behind? Genuinely, I've never seen such a kind of public support for the junior doctors. Has been really, really heartening. Do you think so?
I think it's been heartening, yes. I think, and they've put their case across very well, I think. Yeah. And they haven't done daft things either. They've done it nicely staged to begin with, saying not urgency, now it's urgency. But I'll tell you what the story you said there makes me think is all those operations and outpatient appointments cancelled. It makes you realise just what happens every single day in the NHS. How much that organisation wraps around us and looks after us. You know, hundreds of thousands of appointments and thousands of operations just every day. It's amazing, isn't it, what we do?
Well, so this is a good thing. It's a good thing insofar as it's highlighting this, I guess, to the public. But I think the public appreciate it, though.
Yeah, and every single person has been touched on by the NHS. Had babies born and people rescued and cuts stitched up and the situation.
Like literally cuts stitched up. That people are totally behind this strike. I've walking down to the Salford hospital there. They're bringing cakes, they're bringing donuts. They're fully behind people who've been waiting for operations
bring all that
for
unhealthy food to those junior doctors. They should make them run and bring them fruit.
Doctors, come on, doctors are the worst, aren't they?
we do eat our fair share.
They like a bit of a cake and sometimes they like a bit of a smoke and stuff on the sly.
And our patients, when they're grateful, tend to give us chocolates and wine.
As much much as they'd advise otherwise. But no, I think the support from the public, even though they're obviously greatly affected by it, they might be on a waiting list or whatever, has been absolutely amazing.
I think so, yes. So
and
thank you, public.
No, but it is the one thing I think that the public would actually walk out in the streets for, is the NHS overall, starting with the junior doctors.
Yes, maybe right there, yes.
But as an outcome, how do you kind of foresee this out? I mean, obviously this is the biggest this is the most extreme action that the junior doctors have taken today and tomorrow.
The outcome. I can see the outcome being a bit of a...
Do you feel positive about it?
I don't know about that. I can see the outcome being a bit of a fudge, so that certain hospitals are allowed to introduce contracts slightly different from the national contract, and there becoming a bit of variation. But the NHS has tried to stand against that because they like to have standard contracts across the whole of the NHS, so that one hospital doesn't poach doctors off somebody else. Because that could happen. So if you were paid twice as much in one hospital, you can work there, and then the other hospital loses out on their staff.
Right. Okay.
That's not in the spirit of the NHS.
Okay. So, does that mean you don't feel overall kind of positive about the outcome?
Well, I suppose if that happens when there's local variations and contracts, I think that would be quite a sad day. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Guys, thanks very much for
Pleasure.
that one. Let's move to our next one. 96 football fans who died as a result of a crush in the 1989 Hillsborough disaster were unlawfully killed. An inquest which lasted over 2 years has concluded. The Prime Minister said the inquest had provided official confirmation fans were utterly blameless. After a 27-year campaign by victims' families, some said their faith in justice was restored, while others said they have lost loved ones while they waited for this news. Incredibly emotional scenes outside the court today. I don't know if you've seen any, and it is a very ongoing case. And to be fair, in the interest of balance, there are very differing opinions on this as a case. I don't know, how do you guys feel, Penny, maybe?
27 years.
27. It doesn't feel like 27 years though.
No.
I think it's just, I feel like even if you were 27, those images are just enduring.
Yes.
They've been, those archived images are they're so strong, aren't they? And they've just had such an effect. So it doesn't actually feel like that long ago. No,
all I think about when I hear about this, read about this, look at this, is I just imagine, which must have been the case for them, you're sending your brother, your husband, whoever, your mates, off to the football match, see you later, meet you in the pub, we'll have some dinner, and they're killed, and they're horribly, horribly killed. And to add to that, they're vilified, and they're written up as the authors of their own downfall, that it was their fault, that they did this, that they behaved in this way, that they almost deserved it. I can't imagine what that's like, and to carry that for 27 years and to keep trying and trying and trying and trying to get the right people to hear how wrong that is and how awful that is. And it's no wonder people have died while waiting. Mothers have died. There was one lady in particular, I can't remember her name, I know she was a big mover and shaker. She died trying to get justice for her son and for all the others. I can't imagine carrying that for 27 years or even for 1 year. And I'm just so sadly glad that they've got this judgment. I don't know what will happen next, but I
was going to say, there is kind of a bittersweet feeling about it, isn't it? Because obviously it's so after the fact. What kind of, what comfort can you take other than just that sort of exoneration or something?
You know, I kind of think it might be worth the nation reflecting on it a bit. Because I was 22 when it happened, and I can remember not immediately taking the side of the fans. I can remember that because, well, at the time, I think it tied into almost like a national bigotry. So there were football fans, and at that time football fans had to be kept in cages. There were Liverpudlians, and so nationally there was a bit of a kind of bigoted thing against that. And then of course it was the police, and they're good people, and so it was easy as a nation to kind of take sides and think, well, there were naughty people in a cage, and then to actually find out this length of time later that actually they were just good, normal people, which we knew all along, that something awful had happened to them, makes me reflect and think, gosh, you know, the nation as a whole thought some bad things then, and we should. It makes me think about, you know, other parts of society when we say the same about immigrants or black people or gay people or women or men. We have these bigoted ideas, and if we can just lose that, we would have a much more common, rational understanding human beings and a bit more love in the air.
It is quite scary to look back though and think that we did think certain things are apart. Some of us thought certain things as a group.
Yeah.
As you said, like slightly bigoted or whatever. And there was that kind of like, oh, they're just football hooligans.
Yeah.
Obviously they went in there, you know, they'd had a few drinks, whatever, they'd gone straight. They stormed the stadium, whatever, but like ultimately it was unsafe.
Yeah.
There was
Absolutely.
police behaviour that was obviously proven incredibly wrong now.
I do remember the language at the time, you know, the football hooligans, they stormed it, all those words that were used, and it's just like, you can change people's attitudes so much just by the way it's reported.
Right.
And that has endured, to be fair, and it has and now, not only, even though we have this result, I think today, there's still probably a little bit of work to be done on the people who have accepted that viewpoint that you just kind of described, that some of us had.
Yeah.
That was, and a lot of us to do with the reporting, I think, as well at the time.
Absolutely.
And like, to be fair, I remember, I mean, I think I was about 5 or 6 when it actually happened, but obviously it was replayed quite often.
Yes, and the horrible images.
Yeah.
It's just anyone who ever watched Match of the Day, for example, anyone who ever watched that daytime Saturday football before we had Sky, before we had all that kind of TV,
Grandstand.
Was it Grandstand?
That was a sports programme, wasn't it? Saturday
it was
morning,
one of those Saturday ones. That happened live. Like, people died live on TV.
Yeah.
And to think that there was anything other than sympathy for that is quite
it is, isn't it? Yeah.
isn't it?
So I'm absolutely chuffed that the verdict happened today, as it did, yes. And I'm really pleased, actually, the Chief of Police from Liverpool, from Merseyside, came out and just said, you know, we totally hold their hands up, we were to blame, you know, and we're sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good move.
Yeah, no, it is. It's brilliant. That's a result for today. Thank you very much.
We don't apologise enough.
Thanks for that, guys. We don't. We're going to go for our second break of the evening. Don't go anywhere. We have lots more news and a special guest interview coming up as well. Don't go away.